Join me this week as we finish the table and chair kit from Chris and Bon. Join me and see how easy this project is. Alright, so now we're ready to do our final step before we do our finishing to our chair. And that is to put our little braces in. Now the first thing to note when you're cleaning these is on the, you have the side that goes towards it goes out, and then we have the side that goes towards the chair frame. There's two kinds of little knobs. There's a little tiny knob here, and then there's a little longer piece, hopefully that's showing up on the camera. And you have to keep track of those when you go to put them on. Also be careful not to accidentally cut those off when you're trimming your piece, because it's real easy to not know what you're taking off. Then if you look at your chair has a small hole here and a larger slot in the seat. So that tells you where those two pieces go. So we are going to very carefully put a little drop of glue, come on, there and there, and then keeping our piece right side up. And this is kind of tricky, but once it goes in, it stays in pretty well. And you'll just have to kind of, fiddle around and get the angle that works for you for getting this in. There, that one went in. We'll do the same thing. And I know it's probably impossible to see exactly how I did that, because it's just, you have to kind of just fit it around until it slides in. And it seems, for me anyway, to be easier to put the piece into the seat and then up on the back, but there we go. But you might find that to be a different case. Alright, so now that needs to dry before we finish it. The only other part, you might be saying, what's that hole? We have a cane seat, let me see, and this is the top side, and that will fit in there. But we don't put that in yet because we don't want to paint that the same as our chair. Our table is completely dry. So let me put my lid on my glue so I don't spill glue. So let's look at how this all fits together. You can slide this on. There. And then we have a round table. And just like in real life, if you have one of these old tables, my mom actually had a table kind of like this when I was a teenager. You can put the pieces in, either one or both of the leaves. And yeah, it takes just about as much fiddling around as it does with the real one. So I recall that was kind of a pain in the butt to get the leaf in real life too. But you just kind of fit those in. You can put both in if you want to have it big. Now you've got a couple of options with this. Since I don't know how I'm going to use my table, I am going to leave the leaves loose. If you know for certain that you're going to put this into a scene and you're never going to move it again, feel free to glue the top. You could glue it just like this. You could glue it with one or both of the leaves in. It's up to you. Or do like I'm going to do today and just leave it loose. So that's all the gluing. I need this glue to get dry. I need to still put the other chair together because I haven't gotten around to that. And when this is all dry, we'll see how long it takes, and if I get around to it, hopefully we'll get to put a finish on this today. Alright, so now our glue is all dry. We have two chairs on the table, and first thing I'm going to do is put these cane seats out of my way entirely. And I am going to now put a finish on our table. So I think I'm going to take this back apart. It will be easier to use. And I actually, this is kind of strange because I'm actually filming this several days after I filmed the previous parts of this video, because we had a storm and a power outage, and it was interesting. So I didn't get back to this until today. That's why you didn't get a video last week, because I had no electricity. And when it did come on, it kept flashing off and on, and I thought, I don't want to be trying to film and edit and upload and have the power go off. So anyway, it gave me time to figure out what kind of finish I wanted to do, because I wanted to do something different, but that would look like wood. And I got to thinking, a couple of years ago, when I was looking for something, I have no idea what I was looking for now, but I was looking at the craft store for something, and I came across this staining and antiquing medium. And I'd never opened it. I actually cut the plastic off of the lid earlier so that I could use it today. And what it says is that you mix it equal parts with acrylic paint, and then you'll use a spray sealer to finish it when you get done. So we're going to see how this works. Like I said, I have never used this. So this is an experiment. This may go horribly wrong, in which case you'll get to see it go horribly wrong. So I'm not going to be, whoops, I'm just going to guesstimate my equal parts and make sure I have enough for the whole table and chairs. And my brown, I decided to use a dark brown. This is my favorite dark brown. It's called Brown Velvet by Ceramicoat. I love this dark brown. It's a beautiful brown paint, so I'm hoping it works well with this. It looks about half and half. Let's get a, oh, got a craft stick I can use to mix. I'm assuming this is going to work like any other staining or antiquing medium. You would call it stain if you were using it on wood. You would call it an antiquing medium if you're using it on other products. Now, I did look on the website. This is still available. Plastic is not one of the items they said it could go on, but it said that if you used it with a paint, it would go on whatever the paint could go on. And I use acrylic paint on these all the time. So let's just jump in here. And I've got, hold on, I gotta go get some cotton balls. Since I've never used this, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to need to wipe it off. So what I've got, I have my container of cotton swabs on my table already. I have paper towels. I have now some cotton balls. I have a small container of water. And by the way, if you want something really stable for a small container for water, I bought this ashtray at a thrift store. It is perfect no matter what I'm doing. If I'm using a paintbrush, I can actually rest my paintbrush in there and it can be wet. In fact, I'm going to wet my brush so that a lot of times on things like this, a wet brush works better. So I've got my nice stable container of water. I've got my mixed up stuff here. And let's just jump into it. Yeah, I love this brown. This is probably my most used brown in my collection. And okay, let's wet this. Put on another coat. If you take off too much, you can always put on more. I like this brown because it's kind of a warm brown without being orangey. Oh, I like how that looks wet anyway. We'll have to see what it looks like dry. Now I know from living with these tables, around the edge and in the middle, the color is usually, I'm going to use a cotton swab. I want to make an area in the middle that's a little more worn. Ooh, that's a cool effect. Alright, let's do this top. The chairs might be a little trickier because of all the details, and I'll do the sides of the table after this has a chance to dry a bit. Since there's so little paint on here, it shouldn't take long for it to dry, or stain on here, I guess I would say. I like how this is, and it's got kind of a mottled effect there in the middle. It looks really cool. Okay, now this side reacted differently than that one. That's okay. Paint on some more. And just like with any other staining project, we're going to paint on, take off, paint on, take off, until we get kind of the color we're looking for. Okay, put that off to the side. The base. And then after I do the base, I'll do one of the chairs, and if the sides of the top, if the top is dry, we can go to that. If not, I will do that off camera too. I'm going to do the second chair and the leaves off camera, simply because you don't need to watch me do the whole thing, I don't think. Now we are going to come back and paint the wheels. But because they are a small detail, we'll do them last. Let me know in the comments section a couple of things. First off, have you ever used this particular medium, and what were your experiences with it? And secondly, do you want to see me do more kits? Yes or no? You know, let me know. And what kind of kits do you want to see? Do you want to see more of the plastic kits? I have a couple of others that I haven't showed you, and I'm hoping, crossing my fingers here, to get to the Seattle Mini Show the first weekend of March, and I could pick up some more things up there, maybe. We'll see. Otherwise I could order some. But if you guys want to see more kits, let me know. But here we go. We're just going to wipe off. And after this dries, I may go back and add to spots. We'll see. I would recommend, even if you're going to be gluing your table together, I know Alicia told me she was going to glue her table together, I would finish it, I think, first, if it's not too late, Alicia. Otherwise, you can finish it afterwards. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I really wanted to have this video up last Sunday, but it just wasn't in the cards because I was running behind all week. It was one of those weeks where I kept thinking, oh, I need to record a video. Well, I'll do it right after I finish whatever I'm doing at the moment. I'd get that done, and the phone would ring, or something else would come up. I was like, oh, God, I gotta get this done first. Okay, right after I finish this. And I just never got, I didn't get finished. I got part of the video done and not all of it, and then the power went out. All right. And that one I'm going to let sit for a few minutes before I wipe it down. And I might do something different over the all the ornate carvings on the back of this chair. I haven't decided yet. It looks like I mixed up plenty of stuff here. Now you do want to make sure you don't get too much paint down in that place where the seat sets in. And on a chair, if you want to figure out where the things would be more worn, the paint would be more worn off on this surface here and on these front rungs. A little bit on the side rungs too. Throw this in the trash. Go back and wipe this one. Yeah, I'm going to have to redo this one. It's wiping a little too much. The smoother surfaces like this base wipe a little more off. So I think you see how this works. Oh, I want to see about the side of that. Let that sit a little bit more. For the side, we'll just paint around, but it's basically the same thing. I'm going to leave the bottom of the table there undone. I'm going to try wiping with it. And I'm going to try wiping with a paper towel. See how this works. Remember when you're wiping, since you want this to look like wood, wipe the direction the wood grain would go. And you can kind of see that here. So I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to wipe this down. I'm going to do the other chair and the leaves. And then I'll be back. Alright, so I have the, this is all painted and dry. And I decided to do a little extra, I don't know if the camera's really pick, yeah, it picks it up a little bit. A little extra glimmer up there on the carvings on the back of the chair because they really do look nice. And I've got the perfect pearls. Oops, I'm not on camera with that part. I've got my perfect pearls that I picked up to do the stove kit. And I thought, you know, there's an heirloom gold in there. So what I did, this is dry, so that it will hopefully only stick where I want it to. I just lightly brushed some over the back. I probably should have that out of the way. Then I took a cotton swab and rubbed it back so it's just barely in those crevices around that carving. I just want to highlight that. Just ever so little bit. I don't want to go overboard, but you know, and that's obviously, that's an optional thing. You don't have to do that. I just want to do something fun. So I'm going to rub that back. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing here. But it just takes just a little bit. And I figured since I've got the stuff here, you know, it'll be fun. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is we will need to paint these little wheels. So let me get set up to do that. All right, for this step we need some black craft paint. I'm going to get down closer and hopefully I'll be able to see and you'll be able to see too. I'm going to do one on camera and the rest I'm not going to do on camera because I need to get it up where I can see it better. But I've got a really tiny brush and some black paint. Let's see, yeah, there you are. And I'm going to make that part black. And when I get that done and dry, I'll be back to show you the next step. Alright, now we are ready to do the little brackets that the wheels go into. And for that I'm just using, oops, where's the camera? Let's play find the camera. I'm using some Ceramicoat's Gleams in Metallic Bronze. They still have this, but the bottle looks a lot different. But just look for the metallic colors. And I'm just going to kind of paint this on, like, can you see that? Where am I? And up the sides. You'll kind of see where the little thing is there. And there we go. So I'm going to paint the other four, or other three, what other four? Other three of those. And then when this paint dries, I'm actually going to take this outside and spray it with a clear finish to seal it. Then we'll be back and we will put the final construction together. Alright, so now I have a clear finish on these. I just did a matte finish. If I decide I want a glossy finish, I can always add that later. But since I don't know where I'm going to use these, I wanted to go with a matte finish. So now the only thing we need to glue on are our caned seats. And you need to look at the caned seats really closely because hopefully the camera's picking this up. There's a right and a wrong side to the caned seats. There's actually caning detail where it looks like it's woven on that side and not on this side. So make sure you have them right side up and then put just a drop. Oh, come on. I tested my glue. There it goes. It goes on the tray. There it goes. And I'm just going to put a little bit all the way around. I want these to stay. Making sure they're still right side up. Yeah, I actually glued a set of these in upside down one time. Didn't realize it until much later that, hey, there was a right and a wrong. Alright, so we'll get glue around the edge. And since I've got paint there, I want to put enough glue that I think it will hold. Yes, this is the right side. And there we go. The table I am not going to glue together. Now, if you know for sure that you are going to always display this, you know, at a certain size, feel free to glue it together. But since I don't know that right now, I haven't decided where this will be used, I am going to just put it together. And it's got a few spots on the side, top because it was raining when I painted it, when I finished it. But there we go. That's this kit. Like I said earlier, if you want to see more kits, let me know, whether you do or don't. And be sure and check the blog post. Be sure and find us on Facebook. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.